Okay, I'm going to talk about treatment versus solutions. Okay, you can think of it as treatment versus cures. So when we typically treat something, when we treat an illness, we you can think about the way we treat depression and anxiety. We usually give medications, right, like SSRIs, and we've recognized that a serotonin imbalance or a lack of serotonin in the brain can is associated with depression, right? And so we give people these SSRIs, and the end result of that is maybe it rebalances those serotonin levels and gets rid of the depression, right? But this is actually just treatment, right? Because if we were actually solving the problem, we we would be solving the problem on a society-wide level, but yet depression's still rising, right? So because that depression's still rising, we know that we are not treating the problem. We know that we're not treating the source of the problem. We're just treating symptoms, right? The difference between treatment and solutions is whether or not you're treating the symptoms of the original catalyst or the actual catalyst. If you're treating the catalyst, you solve the problems on a societal wide level. If you treat the symptoms, you're treating people, right? So if we become too dependent on treatment and we ignore the original catalysts, the I mean the problem's going to get worse, right? New people are going to fall victim to things like depression, right, or even obesity. Like for example, or as another example, when someone breaks a bone, we fix the problem, right? We put the bone in a cast and it heals, and the problem's fixed, right? Assuming that injury came about by some catastrophic event rather than something like osteoporosis. So again, if when we break a bone, we fix the catalyst of the problem, right? It's fixed completely, or as completely as we can hope to do with our technology. These are the solutions we want. We want to treat the catalysts of the problem. When we don't, again, the number of people that our problems affect, it rises exponentially. And when that happens, we the problem it grows worse and it affects us and it ends up affecting everybody, right? So like we can even think of wealth inequality in this way. If we're just treating wealth inequality with stimulus bills and half-assed welfare programs, then what happens is again the inflation is overcorrecting in response to many of our stimulus bills, and that's because the way the markets are set up, the way the ruling class is able to manipulate those markets, and the way they control the prices and the wages, they are able to essentially profit from the stimulus bills. Again, so the treatment is actually not solving the catalyst. The catalyst is that we are exploiting labor. And in order to stop that exploitation of labor, we need to redistribute existing wealth, and we need to raise the class consciousness in order to do so. So you can look at any problem in society and apply and think of the solutions we have, the solutions, right? If it's treatment, it's not a solution. It's a temporary band-aid that is, I mean, we're going to need more and more band-aids forever. And again, back to like the depression problem, if we're just feeding big pharma with we're just putting everyone on medications and allowing big pharma to profit from it, we're going to encourage big pharma to treat problems rather than fix them, right? So we need to think about problems under this lens. We cannot keep thinking about problems as things that should be treated, because eventually things compound. Eventually the problems compound because we are treating things and not solving the catalyst. Now it can be very difficult to find the catalyst of some things, but we are there's new research around particularly the gut microbiome and new research around diversity in nature. And in effect, when we what's happening is all these profit driven solutions we are using, they are driving us away from diversity, whether it be the diversity of food we eat, whether it be the diversity of thoughts, that we share with each other, the bottom line is the profit motives are favoring short-term treatment to long-term solutions, and it's killing us as a species. Okay, the reason so many people are obese is because they're eating processed foods and they're not getting the micronutrients they need. And when you don't get the micronutrients you need, you have to eat more and more food because your body needs those micronutrients. And again, if you're not getting those micronutrients in the processed foods, our health decays. Okay, and that can show itself as obesity, can show itself as depression, anxiety, or any number of other diseases and cancers and whatever it may be. We have to start looking at our problems under the lens of treating getting back to the catalyst of the problem. If we don't do this, we're going to continue going down the road we're on. And we have to look at the wealth inequality. We have to look at the processed foods. Those are the two biggest problems, I would say. And we have to look at the media, who is profiting from the treatment of both of those things, okay? And the way they're driving both of those things, because the media controls our perception. The media controls the solutions we find for things, right? There's better ways to solve the problems we have in society. We just have to think about it a little bit deeper, and we have to individually stop contributing to the systems that are in place. So give that a little thought. Thanks for watching.